For the Tangent on Veritas Catholic Network, I'm Father Sam Kachuba with your daily gospel reflection. Today is the feast of St. Luke the Evangelist, and we read from his gospel, Luke chapter 10, verses 1 through 9. Here, Jesus sends out the 72 disciples, and he sends them out in pairs. He sends them out to proclaim the good news, and he tells them, take nothing for the journey, just go, proclaim the good news. This gospel, which is always worth meditating on, I'd like to read in light of the entire book called the Acts of the Apostles, because it's important to remember Luke is the author both of the Acts of the Apostles and of the Gospel of Luke. When we read his gospel, we're going to get the teachings of Jesus. But when we read the Acts of the Apostles, we're going to see what happened to the early church. What happened to the apostles? What did they do? And what we're going to see in a particular way is that it's Luke who went with this guy named St. Paul. And they went on these journeys. They went out proclaiming the gospel. Now, as we read the stories of what happened to St. Paul along the way, we're going to see the many times that Paul was faced with difficulty, with challenges, the many times that he was without any resources, without anything else to stand on, and yet he relied on God, and God came through. Take nothing with you for the journey, but go and proclaim the gospel. Luke doesn't just tell us what Jesus says, he actually lived it out himself. He was a great witness of doing this alongside St. Paul, alongside St. Barnabas, alongside so many of the other apostles. St. Luke knows what it is to go and proclaim the gospel even when there are no other resources available, even when everything else seems to be falling apart. And so on this day, on his feast day, we are invited to meditate on the beauty of his gospel. Remember what he writes about Mary. Mary pondered these things in her heart. With the Blessed Virgin Mary in this month dedicated to the Rosary, we are invited to ponder on these mysteries and to see how it is that God is calling us, as he called St. Luke, to live out more and more fully the gospel each day. St. Luke, pray for us.